Hello everyone, welcome to another edition of Prime Take, and today is a special conversation, a conversation that is going to take us into the history books of one of the famous clubs in this country that has produced many talents, and these talents once upon a time served the national team, served the country Ghana, and continue to provide services to Mother Ghana. But how was that story created? How did they do it? Many actually say it is the model club, the club that created a pathway for the development of football talents in this country. That club was founded by Alhaji Sulai Tete, the late, may his soul rest in peace. But who was the man that headed it with? Many of us do not have an idea. Today, we are here to actually speak to the man who was close to Alhaji when the baby was born. He is Alhaji Isa Inusa, my guest here on Prime Take. Alhaji.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
How you doing?
I'm doing great. How about you guys?
I'm also doing good.
Okay.
Tell me something brief about yourself.
Of course, my name is Alhaji Isa Inusa, but as we all growing up playing football, we can have nicknames.
Yeah.
So our nickname is Alasa, so it's more popular. But then my actual name is Alhaji Isa Inusa. The
so
Alhaji is actually a title that you've been to Hajj. And then you've been, titled to be called Alhaji. My name is actually Isa Inusa. So I was actually, people didn't even know, I was actually born and raised right here at Sabunzongo.
Oh, really?
Yes, I was actually born and raised right here at Sabunzongo, where I was very proud of, a son of a trotro driver, which I'm very proud of my father. That introduction has to be open first.
Yeah.
So growing up as a young kid, playing courts, I started from Padua, right here at Bubuash. So from Padua in the early, basically mid-70s. So that was years before soccer missionaries was even brought into being. So I was a soccer football player, and I played for the then Padua. And then I made my way to Kinarison, then to Assad Babies, and then finally back to Great Corinthians, which were actually right around here, Salvation area. So basically that's how my football career started, as a coach player.
Okay. And you didn't get the opportunity to play professional football?
Yes, sir. From there on, as all of us growing up together with, young players like, the names of Maestro Abedi Ayu Pele.
Yeah.
We all had the opportunity to go to Achimota Green Hill, actually.
Oh, okay.
So I stayed there briefly for about 6 months, when we were all sent there, through a scholarship.
Oh, okay.
With, I think it was Abedi Pele. I have an older brother who was a goalkeeper, and then Abu Moru, late Abu Moru, who has passed me. His soul rest in peace. And then we have Sarkodie, who has also played for Accra Great Olympics.
Oh, okay.
And then one defender, very humble defender, I call him Popodi, which we all call him Popodi. Now I think he resides around Dakuma area.
Oh, okay.
So we see each other once in a while. And then, now we all friends that I call him Buddy.
Yeah.
That's so that's how we all grew up, from coast and then playing through. And then I was in school one day when we had to play, I think, one of the teams. I was around Kaneshi playing, Datus Commercial. That's where I went to school, even though I've gone through school here, Ebenezer, and then while I was at Kaneshi, I had the call with the vehicle that Nana, I have gone through my 3rd division those times.
Oh, okay.
Before late Nana Yanzu Aka Blemeza called on me. I was in school, in my school uniform, when actually they pulled me to secondary, where I joined the secondary 11 Wise.
Oh, okay.
So I played Akarakachi those times, and then briefly there come a time when after a year or so, a year and a half, and Blemeza decided he wants to quit and get out of the system from secondary level. So those players that he came with decided, you know what, I brought you guys, you got to go back to Accra with me alongside. He was very close to me at the time.
Oh, okay.
I'm very, 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 very close to late Blemeza, who within that period of time has taught me a lot, including business. So I was very close to him, you know, so his soul rest in peace. And from that time on, I moved when I came back to Accra, then I have no other choice but to find a club. So, you know, we have friends because we all mingle. It was one day I was walking was jogging actually from Kaneshi, and former Accra House of Folk player, Jonathan Kwadade, spotted me and said, hey, Issa, I heard your stories from secondary. Blemeza has resigned from secondary 11Y, so you have to find a club. I said, yeah, so I'm here. So he just said, look, man, all of us from Accra House of Folk are now moving to other clubs. So would you please join us to play for Accra Stamford? I said, oh, look, man, I have no issues. I just want to play football. Yeah, so I joined them. I came to Accra Stamford, and, you know, from that time on, while I was at the stadium, there come Standard Chartered Bank with their vehicle waiting for me while I finished registering for Accra Stamford. Don't forget those times, it was all banks. So I have to play also in the All Banks League. So that's when I came in to play in the All Banks League. And I have my coach at the time was Abeka Ankra, who we all call White Warrior, a former Accra House of Folk also, and a national team player. You know, so that's how everything started. So I played for Accra Stamford, you know, then I stayed with the banks and played in the All Banks League for pretty much about 5, 6 years before finding my other excitement place in the States. When I called for a leave, I was granted leave for 3 months. I made my way to the United States, and that's how everything just went on. I was actually, people didn't realize that the person that they see today is actually so humble, because I was actually once on the streets of New York, living off garbage containers. I eat from garbage containers that we all see. We put bola in the, you know, you pick up food, people left over, just drop it in, I pick it up and eat it because I have no other choice, because I was on the streets, you know, and I've been on the street for about 9 days with no food, no nothing, not even a shower. So I have to endure this. So one time I think I was just trying to survive when I saw a club training, you know, so, you know, with a fenced, covered mini stadium, and being a football player, you see something that you
You'll
love.
definitely be interested.
You'll be interested. So I went behind the pole and they play the ball, go over the pole. I pick up the ball and just juggle along, you know, with the ball, and then by the time you know it, the coach was watching me, he was paying attention. I guess they kept playing more and more balls behind the pole, and while, you know, I pick up a ball and I start jogging with it, and then, you know, he called me. If we can, he said, hey, where are you from? And I said, I'm from Ghana, actually. So, wow, then quickly said, you know Abedi Pele? I said, oh, wow, great. One of the.
At what age was this?
I mean, I would say pretty much in the early to late 20s. He was late 20s, basically about 26, 27 years old at the time, when, you know, our career would have still been in the, you know, basically, but unfortunately, I decided to pave my way to the United States. I actually have the opportunity to join the Black Stars at the time when Koblen Yeboah, I remember, you know, after I've joined Kosovo, and I played for Kosovo in the Super League in New York. I played for Kosovo. And then they kept calling me to join the national team. I kept refusing because at the time I wanted to play for United States and play in the World Cup of 1994. So I wanted to play 94 World Cup for United States.
Oh, okay.
And then boom, during one of our games, I got injured and, a knee injury, and that really sidelined me for a while, and I couldn't survive. But I always have that passion for football. So, once in a while, I get myself involved. And then I think we play also Lions. I remember I played Lions with late Alhaji Ibrahim Sly Tete in New Jersey, even though we know each other from Ghana, but yet we play the Lions together. I play Lions with late Alhaji Ibrahim Sly Tete. May his soul also rest in peace. He's such a great, great human being.
Was that how you met him?
Oh, no, we actually know each other from Ghana before we went to the States. So when he got to know I was in the country, that was when he pulled me in to come and join his forces in Jersey to play for the Lions. So I played Lions with Sly for a brief.
Okay, so but at what point did the decision to set up Liberty Professionals start?
Oh, to start out the Liberty Professionals, I think it was myself and late Sly Tete, decided to come down to Ghana, and we decided to come to Ghana for a visit, just vacationing. That was around 1990, I believe it was 1992 there. Yes, it was around 1992. So we came down and we overstayed actually about a year and change, a year and a half. And Sly decided he's not going back. I said, Sly, look, we have to go back. It's time to go back. Sly said, no, look, man, I just want to, form a club. So by him saying that, kept trying to convince him. His mom, we're very close with both of our parents.
Oh, okay.
My parents and his parents, because of just the two of us, bring those families together.
More of a
family,
yeah.
So we did that, and Sly decided, okay, he's staying, you can go, because me and him, we have that kind of close relationship. Actually, we can share to that extreme of underwears. We share the same underwears together. Wow. We can share the same thing. We do everything together. We sleep in the same bed, So when he decided he wanted to join, form a club, I said, cool. So I went back to the States, and he was here. People think late Sly Tete got everything on the silver platter. No. Sly and myself, while we were in Ghana, we used to drive our own taxi, and we have, a baseball hat covered our faces, and we working Accra Tema. We pick up passengers. We did that. Nobody knew that because we didn't have anything. We were broke, but we know we could survive with our car that we have. At the time, I have a Mitsubishi Galant. So we were doing it just to survive. And slowly but surely, Sly kept emphasizing that he has to get this team going. So when I went back, one day I was there, he gave me a call that, yo, we can find a club. If you have some change that you can send, you know what the situation is here in Ghana. So if you can send some change. I said, Sly, are you sure you can do this? Sly said, look, man, we can do it. So I said, okay, no problem. Well, how much? It was not really a big money, but I could remember it was a couple of $1,000 that he said I should send. He can purchase the club. So he did that. I sent him the money. And the next thing, it was the next day or so, 2 days later, he called me to confirm that he has got in the club. And that was at the time, I believe, was Okyeman. It was Okyeman, it was not Liberty. So we wanted to, so when he got the club, he was now doing his own little movement. So every week I have to make sure they survive, making sure that he got money in his pocket.
So you were more of the investor of
well, I can't say that because I didn't sign any contract with late Alhaji Ibrahim Sly Tete. We are not friends. We are like brothers.
Brothers, yeah.
We are beyond friends, okay? And to this day, I'm very close with his family, kids also. And I run the whole, his estates, and until I, decided to make sure they have it. They all grown now. When he left me, it was those two Na and Ni were at Legon.
Okay.
So I have to make sure I run back and forth and make sure I take care of those cases and until they get on their feet to be able to get their stuff out and everything that took place at the court. I was the one that audited the whole team meaning his passing. So back to the club. So now I came down to Ghana after he had purchased
Liberty.
not Liberty, it was Okyeman.
Yeah.
It was not Liberty at the time. So I came down and we decided what name we should name the club. And we started debating on, he wanted us to use Saslai, meaning Isa Sly
Okay.
FC. And I said, Sly, no, that don't make no sense. Why do you have to use our names? Because both me and Sly, we are not social media people. We don't really like
in those
to.
days there was no social media.
Well, the social media you can still, pinch here and there. And but both myself and him, we're not people that want to come in front of the cameras and speak and talk to media. Till this day, I don't even communicate. I don't talk to media. It's not for nothing. It's just that kind of shy kind of a person that's growing up. So we decided debating what name we should put for Liberty. And I said, no, you know what, Sly? Remember where you used to work at in New York? He was a travel and tour. It was the name of his office is Liberty Travel and Tour. So I said, let's use Liberty FC. I think it will make a lot of sense. So he said, no. Sly said, no. It should be our name. We should leave a legacy behind. I said, no, Sly, let's use Liberty. Then I said, okay, at the time it was right here, right around this corner, circular area where my mom and dad was living at the time. So I said, let's go inside and see and talk to my mother. So both me and Sly walked to the room and asked my mom, and my mom said, well, all along you've been going to Chief Imam, right? Why don't you go to the old man and ask him what name you should use? So we said, oh my God, my mother again. She said, go to the old man. And who that old man was? The great and humble National Chief Imam of Ghana. So we went to him. And then we came across this, because he has been going back and forth with us.
Yeah.
So we decided to go and see him and talk to him about the situation. And immediately we raised the issue of, he said, you guys, remember? I'll tell you something. And he gave us a brief story of how we should go about everything. So he said, remember, we have to go back to Kofredua. There was one humble man there. He's late today as we speak. May his humble soul rest in peace. His name is Malam Amma at Kofredua. He's a great man. He introduced us more into the football and told us, myself and Sly, he said to raise our hands. We raised our hands and he prayed for us. And he said, your team will have to be the name that you want. Whatever you agree on, and Chief Imam said, that's what you do. He said, it's going to be one of the best maybe ever. We said, what? Sly. I look at Sly, Sly look at me. We didn't argue. We said, okay. And so the old man at Kofredua, great Mala Amma, he is deceased. So much respect. He said, go back to Chief Imam. So we came back to Chief Imam on that same day, not any other day, on the same day. So we came back to Chief Imam and the rest is history. And then the Chief Imam said, okay, the name should be Liberty Professionals. And there we came about Liberty Professionals. So Sly took it on.
At what point did Felix Anson come into the picture? Because many stories have been told about Felix Anton also being one of the founding fathers of the club. At what point did he come into the picture?
Felix Anson, we call him Dada Anson.
Yes.
that Anson came into this picture. I remember one day I was home, Sly called me, he wanted some money, some cash, about 100 million. That was old currency.
Yeah, those days.
Yes, that was those days. So today we say 10,000 Ghana cedis. Sly was looking for an office. Nowhere to find an office. He found his friend. That's Felix Anson. So Felix Anson has his older brother that has stores alongside Dansoman Roundabout, along that road. So Felix Anson took Sly there. He found him a store, right, basically directly side opposite that filling at Dansoman Roundabout. So he was able to get that place for him, and the rest he gave Sly. That time, 100 million Ghana cedis to Sly. You know, just like for assistance. So it was that time. That time, the club was already Liberty. People were contemplating issues with that answer. If you have to talk about owners of Liberty, that answer should be the fifth owner. The first owner should be the great national chief imam, Malam Amma, late Alhaji Ibrahim Sly Tete, and myself sitting here. I never mentioned this to anyone. I never say it. But these four people are the real owners of Liberty Professionals. You can add Anson. I wish one day Anson would come to me, approach me and say, this is the signed contract he has with Sly. Because every document that Sly has, I have copies of it. And just recently, I actually gave back all Sly's documents to his family. It's on my tape right now. I can easily show them to you in front of their lawyer.
So do you have interest in Liberty Professionals? I
really don't have no interest. I really don't have interest. I have no meaning to have interest. My interest in Liberty is to make sure that Dada Anson, we call him Dada Anson, meaning Felix Anson, will have to only do one thing for me. Just do his own due diligence to take care of Sly's family. Don't leave them as if they have nothing in Liberty. And that's where I have issues with Dada Anson. If you can call Dada Anson right now and speak to me and let me ask him questions, or he can ask me questions, I'll be more than glad to give him a listening ear, and vice versa.
Have you been following Liberty Professionals?
Well, have I been
following the club?
Well, I've been following the club. I know where the club is right now.
No, as to
demotion, they demoted.
Okay, so let me put it in context.
Right.
Whether you've been one person who's been key or been heavily involved in the management of Liberty Professional, since you're one of the founders,
yes.
you know the genesis of this club.
Right.
You definitely should have an interest in how the club fares, because your brother is no longer alive,
right, and
his legacy needs to be protected. So as someone whose money brought Liberty to life, you should be interested in what happens to the club. Are you part of the management of Liberty Professionals? And do you have interest in managing Liberty Professionals? Well,
thank you for this. Let me just seize this opportunity to also say, I had actually a call from the family's lawyer. So about a week or so ago, I was able to meet the family lawyer and sat with him, and the discussions it will have to be on a different day, a time that we will come back again, and then you play the tape and you say, oh wow, I said I have visited the lawyer and they have come out with the same issue that you are just, making mention of. I will be waiting for them to have a signed sealed letter for me, and then I can take matters from there on into my own hands, as either that answer should be called the sole owner of the club and not late Alhaji Ibrahim Sly Tete or myself.
Have you spoken to Dada Anson?
Well, I've called Dada Anson to this same place. Basically, a few years ago, to tell him just few years, just about, maybe I'll say about 7 years ago, to say when Sly was alive, he purchased a property at Dodua, about 250 plots. So his name was also added into that document. So I said, look, I don't have the luxury to go around doing that, so you can come around and take the documents and go take care of this place. So he did that. But guess what Anson did? After giving him those copies of those documents to go, so because it's going to be encroaching, people will encroach the place. So the place was meant for a stadium for Liberty professionals at Dodua. But since I did that, guess what, Anson? Anson never even called me for once. After he has come to me and pick up the documents, he never called me for once to say, oh, Alaji, sir, this is in there. And then I was able to. But through friends, he said he has retrieved 75 of those properties. So basically, less than 50% in ratio, if you will. So, but he has not come to me directly like I have done to him to even tell me something. So even out of the 50%, let's just say approximately 50%, how much percentage are you giving to the family? Not me. I don't need anything. I'm blessed.
But have you called him since he left here?
Well, since he left here, we have spoken, but I will never say or raise anything in regards to that. As I expect him to do his due diligence and respect himself to even speak to me and tell me stories of that nature.
But it's also important that since you gave him the document, you follow up to tell, okay, I gave you a document. Right. I wanted you to go and check a certain place. Yeah. Did you check the place? Have you seen the property?
Well, I've seen the property. I was there.
No, so I'm saying that these are the questions you should be asking that are answered. Since he came to pick the document from you, and it is in your interest that the property of Alhaji Salai Tete is protected, you gave the document out to someone you feel was also close to Sly and can manage the properties of Sly in his absence. So if you gave the documents to him and he went away, you should have interest in following up to asking, oh, I gave you document A, B, C. Have you seen the place? Have you checked the place? Did you have that conversation with him?
No, we did not.
Why did you not do that?
Because, look, I'm the one that gave those documents to you. At the time, Chief Imam had handed over everything to me to support the family and bring everything. So I've called in the audit service people to audit everything for me. So I kept them in the hotel and they were doing the auditing. You understand? So I give him the benefit of the doubts. Like somebody looking, a little decent. So you expect him to do, his fair due. But yes, right now we are heading towards legal action.
On a hindsight.
So I cannot, I can't speculate.
On a hindsight, do you think you should have called him? So for instance.
I think so. I think I should have. Yeah. I should have called him and asked him. But this time around, yes, I will surely do that with documentations. Say, look, now I'm serving you, and we have to face each other. You have no choice. Are
you fighting him for the property of liberty?
Oh, no, I'm not fighting him. I have no interest in liberty. I have no interest. I'm just fighting for Sly Tete's children that he left behind for me. And I have to do my due diligence for them, on their behalf. I have no interest in Sly's any property. I don't need it. I don't want it. I've never, ever needed anything from him. I'm blessed. As you can see, I'm blessed myself. Why do I need to challenge somebody else with
Liberty Profession is one of the properties of Sly.
It's late Sly's property, yes. Yeah. Belongs to him.
So you should have an interest too, because his children definitely will have an interest.
Well, we see we see the way forward and see how best we can, interact with each other and see if there is a way forward to fixing liberty and get liberty back on track. Well, you know, ACN, Sule Ali Mutari, Asamoah Jan, all those guys need to be called and see if we can find a better way of getting things back on track.
Do you feel the family of Alhaji Sule Tete has been sidelined by the man who is running his club?
I'm pretty sure that's the right answer, yes. Yes. They have no...
Is that what they have told you? Have they approached the man? Have they approached Dada Anson and spoken to Dada Anson? And tell them that you are running our father's property.
Well, from what I gathered from the lawyer, the family's lawyer, Dada Anson had come to him one time with his own lawyer to his office, meaning to the council's office, but to the council, basically. He came one day with the lawyer, went away, never showed back. If
the chief imam was heavily involved in the foundation of Liberty Professionals, have you spoken to the chief imam? Is he in the know of what is happening? Has he spoken to Dada Ansong to let him understand that when I was here, two gentlemen came to me and said they were going to set up a football club called, and in fact, you said those days. It was Okyeman, it wasn't even. You were yet to even get a name for it. So the chief imam also could be one person who could call Dada Ansong and say, look, when these two gentlemen started this thing, you were nowhere to be found.
Exactly.
So, one of them is here. Let's have a conversation. You are now managing the property. Has that thing happened?
Not to my knowledge. Not to my knowledge. But you can rest assured that I'm going to make it happen now. Things have to change.
When you say things have to change, is it everything?
Everything.
Including Liberty Professionals?
Including Liberty Professionals. Because that's what my late brother wanted to see. He just wanted to leave a legacy. And if there's any leaving behind a legacy than what late Alhaji Ibrahim Sule Tete has done, I don't think there's ever any football player, ever from Ghana to ever did what late Alhaji Ibrahim Sule Tete has done in the history of the country. Nobody.
Talk to me about the model of Liberty Professional. What influenced the choice of players that Liberty Professionals went for? If you take a look at the history of books of Ghana football, Mike Lacy and Sule Muntari, Asamoah Jan, Kojo Asamoah, Derek Boateng. One point, though Joseph Pencil started, that's a Joseph Pencil, John Pencil from Brekuma Arsenal, he also had a stint with Liberty Professionals and all that. But tell me about what influenced the choice of players that you went for? And in fact, got a point, even the brand Liberty was extended beyond the shores of Ghana. I know there was one planning in Sierra Leone and even Togo and Benin as well.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I've been there. I was there. I drove with Sly to introduce me to those stadiums, which after his passing, I have not stepped foot there because there's that notion of stepping into other people's toe, meaning going to other people's countries and trying to take over their wealth, and it's very difficult to kind of deal with those people. So yes, I've been there. He had taken me all those places, but you have just mentioned few players. I'll give you a brief note of some of these players, which you all know where Sule Muntari came from, Kumasi. Was it Coniston?
Yeah.
It was
King Faisal. Yeah, Okes and all that.
Yeah, so before we got Sule Muntari, Sule didn't even know this. His late father was the one that we went to Kofredia. His late father, actually, meaning Sule Muntari's late father, was the one that we met and talked about Sule. He was before then, he was, I think, living, he resides at Nigeria. So when he came down to stay, in Ghana, that's where he was from, Kofredia. So myself and Sly drove from Accra to Kofredia to interact with him. And the rest, just became just history. So I was the one that actually gave Sule Ali Mutari's father. Sule didn't even know this. That time, Sule was young. He was only 16 years old. So he has to be accompanied by a parent. So I gave Sule Mutari's father the ticket to travel with his son to his first contract. You see? So when you look at Michael Essien, when we picked him out from Carnation, when his friends and managers was bringing him to Accra, when we met him at Carnation. Yeah, the rest is just history. So we picked him up and brought him to Liberty. And Sly just wanted me to be a part of it. So we did that for Michael Essien. And today, that's the Michael Essien that you all can see and know and hear. I
need to understand that, in fact, Michael Essien, he went to Bastia for free.
He went to Bastia for free? Who said that? There was no such a thing as free. We don't want to go into contract history. There was a situation with Michael Essien where late Sly Tete get pissed off with Michael Essien. I'm serious about this. And it's just concerning, basically regarding a 200,000 euro contract or some money left that Sly didn't give. And actually at the time, because everything that Sly does, he informed me with everything, everything. So the money just delayed, and Michael Essien thought the money has come. It was 200,000. So he thought the money has come, and Sly had kept it until the transfer came. Those times it was transfers. So when the tellers came through, Sly sent me and said, look, your guy's money came. That was Essien. Essien, I never interact with Essien. I'm somebody that's always on the shy side. So at the time that the money came, Sly called me and said immediately, Sly, call Michael Essien to come to your office and give him his fair share. And Sly did that. Soon as Essien came, now he's ashamed of himself, basically. And so he went back and used his head and promised Sly that he will contribute towards the big bus that Liberty were using till this day. Michael Essien has a share of that. Okay? He contributed money to late Sly Tete, and Sly Tete added the rest to purchase that vehicle that they're still using. That answer is still using it. Okay? Move on from that. Let's come to Asamoah Gyan. You made mention of those guys, right? And let me give you a brief of Asamoah Gyan. Before Asamoah Gyan get to Liberty, there were his older brother already, who was Bafuor Gyan, and has been in the game for a while. And one time he became a national striker, one of the top players. Okay, but I remember him also having that same kind of issue with late Alhaji Ibrahim Sly Tete. So there wasn't that good communication between him and late Sly Tete and Bafuor Gyan. So Sly informed me of that. I know that. One day, one of my boys told me there was this kid playing Coles, very good player. So who is that? It was Asamoah Gyan. So Sly had already, he knew Asamoah Gyan when he was a Coles player, but he didn't want anything to do with Asamoah Gyan. Let me be fair to you, because he had already informed me. So I said, look, they said the kid is coming around my house to play. It was stay cool. So come around my house and let's watch this kid. I remember that time it was my older brother, Dr. Yunus. So such a humble brother. So he has come to me that day that we have to come and study Asamoah Gyan. So Sly called me that he's around the park. So as I was coming out, it was my brother and Sly that came to the park and sat there and watched Asamoah Gyan. Right after the game, before the game ends, we went out. We left the place. And so now, 2 days later, Derek Boateng and Bafuor Gyan came to my house. with a Samoa Jan behind them. They walk into my house. I welcomed them. They sat. I gave them a seat. They sat. Before that, Asamoah did some kind of miracle. And miraculously, that's the Asamoah you saw. Asamoah went to his knee. Can I demonstrate?
Yeah, please do.
This is what Asamoah did. When he walked in as a humble young kid, he walked into my house. I've opened my doors for him. He went down to his knee. This is what Asamoah did. He can testify to this. And then he said, Alhaji, please, if you can help me, I want to play. That's what Asamoah did. Exactly what he did. So I said, kid, I said, you are a coach player, right? Then he said, yes, sir. I said, take a seat. He sat. And I said, Asamoah, that's your name, right? He said, yes. I said, I promise you $1 million. You're going to become $1 million player. I have no doubt in my mind, you're going to become $1 million player. The rest is history. That's the Asamoah Jan that you saw. After them coming to my house, Derek Boatin, Bafo Jan, after sat for about 10 minutes, I called Sly. I said, Sly, remember the kid that we watched last week playing? He said, yeah, Asamoah Jan. I said, yes. So what, and then Sly asked me, what do you think about that kid? I said, the kid is good. He's going to be a great player. Then Sly said, come on now. I said, look, I don't want to hear any story about Bafo Jan. I don't want to hear any story about Michael Essien. Let's give this kid the opportunity to play football. And Sly said, if that's what you want, that's what we do. I said, that's it. I want you to give this kid the opportunity to play football because the kid has done something in front of me in my house. I'm dropping tears for what he has done. You can call Asamoah Jan and ask him. He did that. And I like what he did. And so the rest is history. You saw the Asamoah that you saw. Yes, it's Asamoah Jan.
How disappointing is it for you that Liberty Professionals, a team that produced national assets,
right,
is now struggling in Division 1? Your baby.
Yes, unfortunately. I don't think I can play. I don't think I can help them. But what we can do
you can help them. You have money. You can help them with money.
Yeah, but what we can do is bring all bodies together and try to convince that answer that, look, there is no such a thing as one-man show. You can't do it alone. My brother, you have to get people involved. You have to get partners. You have to get other people that have nothing to do with liberty. Let them come, just bring them together. And for him to really actually sideline me, kind of, and not even give me a call, that's the biggest disaster he continued to make. And I sent him a message.
Did he just say he sidelined you?
Basically, I can't say that because he never called me to say, hey, look, Alhaji sir, what can we do? You know, and one thing I know is when the going gets tough, I think I've spoken to him one time when he was running, you know, think he's going to go, that was the previous relegation that he won. He almost went to relegation. Yeah. He skipped that relegation. And then, boom, he stopped. I said, this guy, they have to go on relegation for him to wake up. If that's what that Anson is doing, he has to go on relegation for him to get himself together.
But why are you also not getting yourself involved? Why are you waiting to be called? This is your baby. Why are you waiting for people to call you?
I mean, look, I'm not waiting for anyone to call me.
But that's exactly what you're just saying. You're saying you've been sidelined.
Yeah, but you know, just to make it sweet, just to make that Anson feel good. You know, just to sweeten things up for him. But we know we're going to get things together. We're going to fix things.
It is your sweat that has become sour because you mentioned in the 90s you sent $1,000. Imagine $1,000 those days.
A couple of $1,000. It's more than $1,000. A couple of $1,000. It was about $3,000 at the time. My recollection would serve me right. It's about close to $3,000, about $3,000 that we used to purchase.
But do you have any documents that you can use to claim ownership
No.
or shares of ownership within Liberty?
No, I have no interest. I have no documentation.
Then how do you
Well-
get into the club then? Because there's nothing to show that you have even expended a CD
Yeah.
in Liberty.
Yeah, you see that time, you know, that belief of, you know,
As in a gentleman
as
agreement?
a gentleman, as a brother, beyond friends, and a brotherhood kind of. I don't expect Sly to give me something, and I or he expects me to give him a receipt, you know, of any kind. You know, it's just a genuine people that we are. Just Sly is such one human being that I don't hear from these great Asamoahs and, you know, Michael Essien, Suleiman Tari, all of these guys. I don't hear them speak about late Alhaji Ibrahim Sly Tete, and that hurts me sometimes. These are the things that hurts me, not the propaganda documentation paper. It don't mean anything to me. For me personally, sitting here, those documents don't mean anything. I have those documents. I can play the tape right here on my phone for you, and you can see it. I have surrendered and given out those documents to late Sly Tete's documents to his family. I did that. And I have it right now. I can play that to you.
You were the one in possession of
Those documents, some of the documents, if you will. Yes, sir. But they didn't know. Nobody knew. Nobody knew. Those property that you see that Anson is crying for is like a Liberty. No, it's not Liberty professional. It's not Liberty team property. It's Sly Tete's personal property. Not for the club. It was his personal property. And then he used them for the clubs, you know, like the clubhouse, you know, where the players can have players from different places. They can have places to
there's one
around
around
Russia, Dansuma, all of those places. So those are really not, you know, from the coffins of.
Is there documentation suggesting that Anson bought shares or bought the club?
From what I gathered from basically people like yourself, I heard that, but I never see it. I never heard one time from late Alhaji Ibrahim Sly Tete to say, I have, or Mr. Dada Anson, so-and-so Felix Anson has a share of a percentage in the club. I never heard from that. I never heard Sly say that.
Could there have been that possibility, but he never told you?
Well, look, he's human. The possibility, oh yeah, but prove it. That also, all you have to do is prove it. Let me just call my brother that I know so much and trust and believe in so much. Let me just call him a bad brother. I doubt that. I doubt that. I will now be in the country, I'll be out of the country. Sly will call me and say, look, I bought a land here. So just so you know that. I bought a property here. Just so you know that. Before he passed, he told me he's going. I should come. Late Sly Tete.
He told you he was going.
He told me when I pass, he's going to take care of my family for me. You know that, right? That was a night before he passed. And then the day that he passes, the same day, he called me around 5:20 a.m. after I finished morning prayers. He called me and said, he's going to park. You better come because I've organized both your secondary 11 wives and my Hazakes players. They all come into Cape Coast to witness that game. So you better come and play. I said, I'm not. Okay, I'm coming. That's what I told him. Go, I will come. You never come and pick me up from my house. Why would you want to tell me now you're going to come pick me up? Because me and him, we have that chemistry together. So that had happened. They went to Cape Coast. I didn't go. Then that day, I was in my house napping when the phone call came. It was Honorable Neil Ante van der Poel that called to tell me, Alhaji sir, I said, yeah, Ni. He said, we have a situation. What is the situation? Sly Tete is dying. He said, while he was talking to me, Honorable Neil Ante van der Poel, while he was talking to me, he was telling me at the same time, Oh, he has passed. So now I have to rush down to Alhaji Franco's house, which is the house just across from my house, run to his house, inform him about the situation. We started hearing, getting phone calls.
Yeah, it was all over the media.
And then we organized myself, Dada Anson, Alhaji Franco, former FA Yantechi. Don't forget, Yantechi was Sly's boy.
Yeah.
Make that clear and tell everyone before he became the
GFA president.
GFA president.
Even Yantechi talks about it all the time.
Oh, okay.
He said Sly Tete took him across the continent to meet the powerful people in the continent's football. So Sly Tete made him who he is.
Exactly.
He doesn't hide that.
Exactly. So, and that's what happened. So it was myself, Dada Anson, Alhaji Franco, and my brother, Yantechi. It was the four of us, accompanied by, we were escorted by police motor riders all the way across paved ways from Odoko to Cape Coast, just to go and convey and get the body to Accra. So we did that, the four of us did that. The rest is history. It was just the four of us.
I can understand the passion behind this Liberty Professional story. But one thing I'm struggling to actually understand and appreciate is the fact that you never really got yourself heavily involved in the management of this club. I'm sure if you were heavily involved in the management of the club, there's absolutely no way anyone will come from somewhere to claim ownership of that property.
I know. I mean, some of the things I say is my fault because sincerely, Sly had given me basically small opportunities to look, man, take charge, be a part of it. Just come and stay in Ghana and be a part of this football club. I'm a business guy, man. I love traveling. I love, doing business. So, yes, I should have. Yes, I should have. But it's still not late. We can always readjust and organize and bring Dada Anson on the table, one-on-one, have a talk, a gentleman's talk, with respect, and see the way forward. Because I think Dada Anson needs that. He needs to humble himself, realize, look, it's not his club. There are people behind the club, okay? And let's not leave those people behind. And I said it clearly. Our humble chief imam today is a part of it. Late Malam Amma, he's deceased. He's no more. Late Alhaji Ibrahim Sly Tete, he's deceased. He's no more. May their soul rest in peace. But myself, National Chief Imam, we are here. The most genuine, humbling, sweet father that he was, Chief Imam. He was the main door. It was a revolving door. It was through him that we established Liberty Professionals. And nobody should tell you anything else. Nobody should tell you anything else.
So the late Alhaji Sly Tete's wife knows very well that.
I took them there myself, held their hands, let's go. And we went. And we sat right on the floor, actually, and I sat next to Chief Imam. And Chief Imam just took it on, explained everything to them, just so Chief Imam can share the properties for them. I took them there. So did they share the property Liberty Professionals, or they've not shared that one? They've not shared that one. And that's where I have issues. They've not shared that particular Liberty Professionals football club. They've not shared that one. And that has to be taken care of. And I heard stories about Dada Anson selling the club or having 50-50 partners with people. I can't mention names right now because it would be a legal proceedings, right, when we have to take matters to court and see how best we can.
So you have to go through legal process to get
yes.
professional.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, absolutely.
But you mentioned that you need to have a gentleman agreement. So if there's going to be a gentleman conversation, why go through the legal process?
Well, unfortunately, when one is given opportunities to express through other, through other close friends and other people, and that has not taken place, then you channel it. And that's what we have to go through the legal system. And let me also say, look, I can't leave Slice property and family just like that. I have to support them. I have to give them my all. Just as he told me on that same day and the day before he passed, he told me he would do this to my family. So what is he referencing to? He knows he's going to go.
Were you wrong to have given the land documents in Dodoa to him instead of his wife? Why didn't you give the documents to his wife, but you were giving them to his friend?
Yeah, you see the perception, right? The thinking of, oh, Anson is a nice guy, he will do his due diligence. I don't have the time to go back and forth to Dodoa.
Do you regret this?
I do. To be sincere, yes, I do. I do. Yes, I regret giving those documents to Anson. And let me just say, for him to be such ignorant person, I do regret giving him those documents. That Anson is ignorant. He's claiming ownership of the properties or what? Basically, he has not given Slice family anything. Not that I know of. Because if he has, they would have informed me. Immediately, I would have a if he give it to them right now, they will call and inform me. I know that if they don't call, the lawyer will call me and inform me. I know for a fact. So I would say directly to Dada Anson, Felix Anson, he's ignorant. Anson is ignorant. That's all I have to say.
That's all he has to say. Alhaji Isa Enusa.
Yes, sir.
My guest on Prime Take. We appreciate your company. Alhaji.
My pleasure.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.